Um, Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and thank you for joining this session. My name is Faisal Abbas, and I'll be your trainer for this course. And we thank IEC management for giving us a platform to present such courses and bring our community and other people at large to to come up to speed on cutting edge technologies or the technologies which are currently in demand these days. Um, so before we start, let me just quickly give you a quick overview. Who am I? What I do? I've been in IT field for almost 16, 18 years now. Um, I have BS Computer Engineering from Pakistan. I was on the first batch of Sir Syed University. The Master's Computer Science from Zavis, that is also from Pakistan. And I recently did my MBA in Finance from Louisiana State. Been in the technology field throughout my career, been in the hands-on role pretty much throughout the time. And currently I'm working with Accenture as a consulting manager, mainly in the cloud journey for our customers. So I am in the advisory side these days, plus also managing another project in parallel, which is for the security of Accenture endpoints. Whatever the endpoint connect to the Accenture network. So I manage that as well, mainly on the operations side. This course is a 5 weeks course compressed on 2 classes per week with 2 hours each. So we're gonna have 10 sessions, about 20 plus hours we're gonna be spending together on this course. The way I conduct this course is we try to make it as interactive as possible. So this is the first time we're doing it online. Normally we do it at IEC Husseini. So you have 2 options. Either you put your question on the chat, and it is being moderated by Kumail Bhai. And thank you, Kumail Bhai, for the for this assistance here. And also, you are more than welcome to unmute yourself and ask the question. And I do not guarantee that I'll be responding back to that question right away. If I feel that it's a forward question that may cover down the road in a slide deck or in a topic which I have for today or for coming days, I'll let you know. This is just to I'll make sure that everybody is getting a fair chance here. Second thing is the medium of communication or the language of communication will be English, because we have people coming from other ethnicities as well, different languages as well. And as they say that, English is a binding force for us. So we're gonna be, conducting or the communication mode will be in English predominantly. All right, so let's move on. I normally try not to run as many slides as possible since this will be a hands-on course. So today's session will have pretty much everything on the slide deck. And then in the coming days, it will be hands-on. So I'll be logging into the console, and then, we're gonna be coordinating with you, sharing the screen, or let you guys share the screen and continue on that journey. So today will be very heavy on the slides, and then as we proceed along in coming days, number of slides will be will get less and lesser. Okay, and I'll be asking a couple of questions through the surveys from you guys. So how about I start with the first survey, and this will be, let me share it to the screen here. Give me 1 second. All right, so the first survey question is about which metro city or state are you joining us from? So you don't have to unmute yourself or type in here in the chat, but either pick up your phone or on your laptop or computer, just go to menti.com, put this code here and respond back to the question, please. So as fast as we respond back to this question, we're gonna proceed to the next one. All right, so we have a first response here. Again, go to menti.com, and this is the code for this question. Nice.
No.
So I see that Chicago is the dominating city here. We have people from pretty much all over US, and I see people from Ontario, Toronto as well. Dallas, Michigan, Lahore. It must be too early for you, whoever is here with us from Lahore. It's what, 4 a.m. in the morning? I see we have 63 participants, including me, so 62. We have responses so far from 54 people. So Lahore, Virginia, Michigan, Jersey, Toronto, Willowbrook, San Fran, Richmond, San Jose, Albany. So looks like Kumal bhai did some real good marketing. We have people from.
No, it wasn't me, bhai. It was you. MashaAllah. Jazakallah.
All right, perfect. Kumal bhai, can you take a screenshot of this? And I'll move on to the next screen. Let me know when you're
Got
done.
it. Yep, yep.
Perfect. Okay, I'll move on to the next question. It is about what are your expectations from this course? Just write a word or two in your response. You don't need to write the entire essay or a whole sentence. Maybe like, okay, learning or time away from kids or me time. Perfect, perfect. I like that, more money. So by the time people are responding to this, to the survey, I'll try to be as slow paced as possible. But if you feel that I am going in a rapid pace or you are not able to catch me up, feel free to pause me, stop me, ask me to slow down, because we're here to teach you guys. So however, you feel comfortable, just feel free to, let me know. Right, so we got a gist of it. So learning, certification, understanding, more money. Okay, basics, practitioner, computing start, learn a little. Okay, career change, make money, get ready for certification. Okay, perfect. Kamal bhai, can you take a screenshot of this as well, please, for me?
I got it.
All right, perfect. Okay, so these are the 2 questions for now. There will be 2 more coming down the road today as in today's session, and this is just to gauge what you guys are looking for and how you would like us to to help you out. All righty, perfect. So let's moving on. Our next slide is about agenda. What agenda are we gonna continue on with this course? So these are the topics I'm gonna be covering. Today's is cloud concepts, fundamentals. What is cloud? What is your definition? And what is industry definition and all that? And then in our subsequent sessions, we're going to be covering the understanding of core services. It is not just about the AWS core services. These core services are common across board. Even if you are working on on-prem, they remain the same. One disclaimer here, I'll be taking a lot of jargons and lingos and terminologies here, so don't get intimidated by that. Down the road you will know, or if I feel that I need to define that right away, I will let you guys know. So AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. So the intent of this course is to give you guys some clear-cut concepts about the cloud and its fundamentals. And all our hands-on labs, they're going to be conducted over AWS console. So what we're going to cover is we're going to cover the basic 5 or 6 services, which is the compute, storage, network, database, security, and then management and monitoring. And time permits, in our last day, we're going to be covering advanced topics that covers mainly Amazon CLI, or the command line interface. So during our hands-on labs, we're going to be logging into the console, click, 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 and done. But in our advanced topic, we're going to cover how do you connect through the command line, like type in those commands, push those commands, and see the results there. So that is, kind of considered as an advanced topic for people who do not have IT background, or who have not, done any Linux work, or mainly they worked on the Windows arena. So we're going to cover that, in our last session. Along with the Amazon CLI or AWS CLI, we're going to be covering another topic, which is of very great importance these days. And the topic is IAC, or Infrastructure as a Code. So I'm going to be covering in details about that as well in subsequent slides. So keep this in your mind, IAC. And you guys are more than welcome to take notes, although Kamal bhai is recording this session. And within 24 hours, we're going to upload that session to YouTube, and we'll provide you the link. It will not be published to the public. It will be published as an unlisted, so you will have access to it. So like every other YouTube video, it's not going to be available there. So you will have to click on that link to access that. So the recording is going to help you out down the road, let's say, a couple of months down the road, and you feel that, hey, you know what, I did something in S3 storage and I forgot what happened or what was the lab which we did that time. So you can always go back, play back, and get the work done, or get the understanding back again. All right. So next one is whatever you call it, quote of the day or topic of the day or BS of the day, whatever you call it. So, and this is my main motive, my main intent, and it's not just mine. It's Kumail Bhai or several other trainers we have in our pool. We all follow this very religiously, that your life begins at the end of the comfort zone. If you are in your comfort zone, you will be happy dandy, having everything, working out fine for you. But try to challenge yourself. Try to put yourself up to a failure. I know it is kind of a very, very different example I'm giving, but if you are giving up, then you are actually putting yourself on a failure. I'll give you one early like recent example. So what happened is when my kids start their school this year, actually last year, so we had a PTA meeting and the principal was there. So his starting sentences were, do not afraid or do not instill in your kid that failure is a bad thing. Failure is your first step towards success. So the way I grew up was like failure was a no land for us. But here I see that, they encourage kids or encourage people to try things, stumble upon, try again, stumble upon, try again. So this is also this cloud course may be a very a foreign land for you, a very different area for you. So since you joined this class or since you join us here, that means that you have not given up. You have that spark in you to come in and learn. If I can learn and speak here in front of you guys can do the same thing as well. There is no rocket science. There is no complexities here. The more time you're gonna put into this course, the more you're gonna learn, the more you're gonna bring your career to the next level. Any questions so far before I move on to the next one? Okay. All right. So just keep this in your mind that you are not in your comfort zone. Come out of your comfort zone, challenge yourself, put yourself to the failure. Do not afraid of the failure. Another example I can give you, throughout my career, I was technical. I never studied business. I never studied accounting, finance, economics, or anything. Or I had the opportunity to simply register for MBA General or MBA Project Management and just be done with that, and get the diploma with me or get the degree with me. But I challenged myself to specialize in finance. It was difficult. I had to put a lot of crazy, extra hours or crazy hours while running a full-time job. But I challenged myself, and I had only thing in my mind that was my goal. And the second thing is, what would be the worst case or worst scenario that is going to happen to me? I'm gonna fail that course, right? Or I'm not gonna be able to even pass the course. But I had to put extra hours, came out of my comfort zone, and alhamdulillah, I got it all sorted out, and I have a degree with me now. So gave you two examples. So just make sure that challenge is always there for you. Otherwise, life is just a flat line. Okay, moving on to the next couple of disclaimers, guys. One thing is this training is a cloud computing fundamentals, and we're gonna be focusing on AWS. And you will find out why AWS, why not Microsoft Azure, why not Google GCP, why not IBM, or why not Alibaba, or whatever and whatnot. So there's some, there are some numbers behind that, and there's some, legit reasons behind it why we picked AWS. Second is IEC is not going to provide any training certificate. So please try not to approach us for any certificate because we are not authorized to give away any certificates for this training or any other training that is running in parallel. Certification prep is all yours. We're here to help you out. I will be providing a lot of material to you guys, a lot of websites and a lot of course details and FAQs and white papers and whatnot. That is going to help you out in the certification prep. One thing is, although IEC does not provide any certificate and prep is all yours, but there is a good news that is going to come in either next week or the following week to keep the momentum alive and to keep you guys engaged more into this this training course. And that is I don't want to provide the entire or the whole information to you guys. It is about to help you guys out or to compensate if you go for AWS certifications. Based on so you will find out more in hopefully in next week's session. Third thing is AWS provides a free tier account, and that account's ownership is all yours. Free tier account ownership is as same as your bank account, that you do not share with anyone else. You just keep it with you. So try to keep it as secure as possible. Also, although it is called free tier, but not every service falls under the free tier, and we're gonna find out more in details hopefully tomorrow, that what services are qualified under the free tier and whatnot. Obtaining the free tier account, it's on your own. So you accept the risk. IEC or myself or any other trainer, we do not bear any responsibility for any credit card charges, damage, or disruption happen to your laptop or your computer system. Where I'm gonna be telling you all those tricks and tricks of the trade, how to keep yourself under the radar, not to get any charges on your credit card. I created my account, and the more I'm afraid that I'm not afraid about that putting any service there that has a charge associated with that, but the more concerning thing is I have to justify to my wife, hey, where did this charges come from? So you gotta be very careful on that. Another thing is, which I am currently working on, it is not a disclaimer. So I'm working on to bring in people from our community or in my circle to come in and talk about their journey on AWS or their journey on the certification side. And so you will be seeing more people coming in subsequent classes, for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. So they'll be sharing their journey details, like how much did they work toward their certification, or when they started on cloud, what were the challenges they faced. So all those things we'll be sharing with you guys as well. All right. So, what was the life before the cloud? Cloud AWS started back in 2006 or 2004. At that time, not very many people know about it, but these days, cloud is a buzzword. Everybody is going for a cloud. Every company is going toward the cloud. Um, no matter what, big or small, whatever the size of the company is, they have some sort of presence in the cloud, and we'll find out more, in detail. So before the cloud, the traditional businesses were, they were spending crazy amount of money on the infrastructure. Servers were coming or rolling into their data centers, operating system being purchased. Um, the the data center um, facilities were being maintained, the HVAC or the AC or power and all that. So there were a lot of capital expenses were made before the cloud. So let's say if I am a company of a small size or a medium size, I may have purchased, let's say 20 or maybe 200 or 2000 servers, but maybe I'm using a fraction of the capacity, but the remainder of the capacity is just sitting there, not being utilized at all. And after every 5 years, that hardware needs to be refreshed. The older one, goes out the door, newer one comes in, and then that's another capital expense. The company is incurring. So what the technology gurus, they decided, hey, instead of us utilizing only certain percentage or certain a fraction of the capacity of our systems, it could be the memory or the RAM or the CPU power or the storage or the disk space. Why not we introduce something new, which is called virtualization? So virtualization is the main intent was to utilize the underutilized power of that system. So virtualization was introduced. So previously, like in one server, there was only one operating system running, and that was taking the entire. Let's say if I had a 24 CPU, 16 or maybe 128 gig RAM or 1 terabyte of a disk space. So that was all entire taken by that by that one single operating system. So with the virtualization, what they came up with, they install a very base monolithic, very very minimal operating system, and then on top of it, you install multiple operating systems. So one server that was running with only one operating system, now you can run multiple operating systems. So that actually brought some efficiency into it in a way that I can, let's say, run like 6 operating systems, and on a server that was running only one operating system previously, that has a capacity that is being used, let's say only 20%. Now I am using, let's say, utilizing, let's say 80% or 90%. So I am getting some, good, bang for the bucks. But again, at the same time, although virtualization was there, so it actually changed quite a bit into the computing paradigm. But again, what happened is, um, even after the virtualization, again, companies have to maintain their own facilities. They call it data center, where they have cages and cages, or racks and racks of servers, storage appliances, network, firewall, cables, and everything. So they will still have to maintain that. So that was all the things that the companies were managing and maintaining before the cloud era. When the cloud came in, what cloud did is, the basic offering what any cloud provider does is, they tell the company, let's say if I'm a company, abc.com, for example, they come to me and they say, hey, you know what, why you are putting in $1 million, let's say $1 million for 5 years, why not you outsource everything to us? We have you know, huge data centers where we have rows and rows of servers and storage appliances and everything. And we are not asking you, or we're not going to charge you for the whole thing that you are currently running in your data center to shift it to our data center. But you have the opportunity to go toward the pay as you go model. That the more you pay, the more you utilize, the more you pay. It is pay as you go model, similar as, let's say, your electricity company or your gas company. Like you have meters, they're metered by your house, where you see that, the more electricity you use, the more you pay for it. The less you use, the less you pay. Similar thing goes with the with the gas meter as well. So based on the similar principle, they came up with this cloud technology. So cloud providers, they took the burden from the organization to make the capital investment, turn that into an operational expenditure. So there are two terminologies in finance. One is CapEx, another one is OpEx. CapEx is capital expenditure, OpEx is operational expenditure. So instead of making a big chunk of payment at a one-time payment for that is good for 5 years, instead of that, just pay for the amount of utilization that you are utilizing. So that's how they this all came into being. Underlying technology in the cloud is predominantly virtualization. So everything, pretty much everything is running on virtualization. It's not just only the compute and the OS, but storage as well. Now networks as well. They call them uh, virtualized networks, or SDNs, or software-defined networks, and software-defined firewalls. So pretty much everything is software-defined, and pretty much everything is virtualized as well. So based on that principle, a lot of companies start moving toward the cloud. And we'll see in coming slides what is the current revenue, what is the current market, and who are the current market leaders. If you guys give me 1 second, let me roll the blinds. The sun is coming in my eyes. Okay. All right. So that was the life before the cloud. And if you see that, infrastructure, pre and post cloud era, see that data centers have to be maintained, their environment and their components have to be maintained, and not just only maintained, but refreshed every 5 years, 3 years, or 8 years, whatever the lifespan of that appliance or that specific component is. So they have to pay for the perimeter security, security guards and everybody, floor space, cooling and HVAC, and then on the component side, those 5 or 6 critical pieces, for the compute, the servers, storage, network security, management, and everything. So companies will have to make big amount of money or big amount of payments to not just only maintain the data center, but also to to refresh and bring it bring the newer technology every certain period of time. There are different types of data centers. They are still here in the market. Like people still use use the data centers. There are certain limitations of either the application has certain limitation, or the company has certain limitation, or they are not comfortable, or they have some security concerns, or they have a grandfather leadership that do not want it to change. And that change is the only constant in this life, and change is inevitable. So if you do not change yourself, you will be out the door, out the market pretty soon. Sears is one example. GE is going toward the same route. So all those, big elephants of their era, you will see them, going out the door or going out the market, in coming days. If you do not change yourself, people do not, look and, even, give you any business, or they don't even, look at you, whatever your offerings are. Oracle is one example. They started out as software company, then the database company, then the engineered systems, and now they call them the cloud company. So Oracle is trying to change itself. It's a 40 plus years old company trying to compete with, millennials. Amazon is kind of millennial in front of them, or, several other companies out there. So if you do not change yourself, it's not just only the organization, or it's not just only the company or the firm or Fortune 500 or whatever. It's a universal law. It is applicable to everybody. It's applicable to me, you, or whoever, if you just look around, it is applicable to everybody. Another example of change is, I started my career as a Linux admin. I've seen I think some 8 or 10 different revisions and versions and different flavors of Linux operating system. But nowadays, we're gonna start seeing from tomorrow that Linux is just integral part of Amazon infrastructure, and so I had to change myself as well. If I was stick with the Linux operating system, although I still work on Linux OS, not to that extent like I used to, but I had to change myself. I had to bring myself as into the cloud arena. If I do not change myself, so here's the thing: either you volunteer yourself to look at the bigger picture and change yourself now, or you're going to be crying and being pulled into that area, or you will be the one out the door. Whatever the physical technologies were there, like those were the glorified ones back in the days, they are not even a commodity these days. So change yourself. Do not just stick to one thing only. Whatever, and always look for the bigger picture. Look for 5 years. Look for 3 years. Do not just look for, hey, you know what? I am doing good. My this year's review is good. I'm gonna get some raise as well. Yeah, why don't I just stick to it and then spend some couple more months or couple more years? No, I would not suggest to do that. Always try to change yourself, or introduce new things into your technology portfolio. Coming back here, and Kumail bhai, please keep me honest here. If you feel that I am pulling more toward the tangent, just bring me back on the.
No, you're doing good. Alhamdulillah.
All right. Thank you. Data center types. There are different types of data centers. Like I said, there still are companies that are building data centers and offering these services. One is the corporate data center. An example, let's say, Oracle has its own data centers. They do not go and outsource their data centers to some other company. Another example is or whatever the company that you could think of, they had in the past, or they probably currently be maintaining their own corporate data centers. Next one in line is called the managed service providers. Managed service providers are the ones that actually you outsource your data center management to them. MSPs and co-location or colo, kind of interrelated terms. So colo is like one small area within the bigger MSP's data center. Let's say It's 100,000 square feet raised floor, out of which I have, let's say, 1,000 square feet of raised floor, which is, behind the cages. That is my co-location within that MSP. So MSP, they manage pretty much everything here, but they are not the cloud provider. This is not, MSP is different than a cloud provider. So what happened is these type of companies, they are very common. And let's say if I'm either a mid-sized company or small company that I cannot afford to have my data be there in the cloud, so I'll just go and get services from MSP or from a co-location provider. Funny thing is, I was in Texas 2 weeks ago. I was in Dallas visiting the family, and there were the areas close to the Richardson. Those who are from Dallas area, they would know. Close to the Richardson area, that area was like either the farmlands or just empty lots there. Now you see miles and miles, not miles and miles, but blocks and blocks of data centers built there. I don't know what has just changed, and it just started recently, like maybe 2-3 years ago, that a lot of companies are building the data centers in the Dallas area. I'm sure it will be the case in other areas as well, but I was in Dallas, so that's what I noticed there. And the surprising thing is, that majority of the companies, they are going on the cloud, and I was surprised at why they are building these, data centers, and which company and what company is actually going toward the older model on the data center side. Okay, moving on to the next. So infrastructure deployment model, that covers not just the on-prem. On-prem means on-premise, or a data center that is maintained by the company. So these are the ones, they are an example of on-premise. The corporate data center could be, let's say, at the basement of your building, or some floor in your building, or maybe in one of the building in your corporate campus. So it could be anywhere. So these three, they are in a general term, they are called the on-prem or the on-premise deployment. Okay, and then there's another type of the deployment model, which is called the hybrid model. So in the hybrid model is, I have some footprint of my application or my infrastructure. Some footprint is on-premise and some footprint is in the cloud. Like I am not 100% in the cloud. I am some of my critical components are running on the on-prem, and some are running on the cloud. So that model is called hybrid model. And then the third model is cloud, which is like my application is 100% in the cloud. So if I put it this way, this is like 100% on the on-premise. The second one is certain percent is in the on-prem, and certain percent is in the cloud. And then this one is like 100% in the cloud. And then if my application or my infrastructure is 100% in the cloud, then I have, there are two additional demarcations. One is a single provider. Let's say I have everything is running with AWS, or everything is running with Azure or GCP or anything. So this single provider model was in fashion or common a couple years back. But now this model is dying as well. The companies, they do not just simply go with single provider, they choose multi-providers. So let's say my AD is running on Microsoft, and my application is running on AWS. Or let's say my email and my Office is running on Office 365 at Microsoft, but my other application is running, or my critical business applications or other business applications, they are running on, let's say, GCP or Google, or some component is running on GCP and some component is running on AWS. So it's a mix of providers. So multi-provider is picking up pace, and it is, I would say, it is in fashion these days. So companies, they do not just stick to one provider; they split their application and infrastructure to multiple providers. Okay. Before I move on to next one, any question so far?
I have a question, Faisal. If you go back to the previous slide, yes. So I just thought I would ask for a little bit of clarification in the types. And just maybe for everyone, it would be beneficial to have an understanding with people if they are coming with no experience, that what is in the data center type, the corporate DC versus an example of what is a managed service provider would be, or a co-location would be. I may have missed what you explained, so it would definitely benefit me if you can just give one liner.
Okay. So corporate data center, let's say I'm company, let's say I'm Oracle. So I'm maintaining everything in my data center. So I have, let's say, data center in Austin. I have data center in Florida, or some other location. That data center is maintained end to end, like all these components, everything is maintained by Oracle.
So all the servers, all the storage, everything is in that location.
Is it whatever is in that location is maintained, managed by that corporate or by that company. That is called the corporate data center.
Okay.
And managed service provider is that you have outsourced your, let's say, your server space and storage space to some company. Let's say my company Accenture has a data center, and we are managing multiple clients over there. So we would be called MSPs, or managed service provider. Now,
That's basically racks and managing all the server infrastructure in that data center, right?
Yes, exactly, everything. One of the MSP, one of the common MSP, slipping my mind. It's very common in the Midwest and East Coast as well. Entity Data. Entity, they are one of those big MSPs is still around in the market. So what they do is they build the data center, and then they start leasing out the floor space to people like you and me, or my company, or your company. Yeah, correct. Yeah, MSP is a third party provider.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Any other question? I see Zaman raised a hand. Yeah, Zaman, please go ahead. Unmute yourself. Okay. All right. I'll proceed. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay.
Faisal bhai, there is another question from Ali Akbar Rufani.
Faisal bhai, so I know in my previous client, when we were working, they had a on-prem because of the security. But then, do people usually not go to cloud because of the cost, or because of security reasons, or like something else?
Both are the valid reasons. There are companies, when they do the math, they find out that taking their existing application to the cloud is far more expensive, even if they do the lift and shift. So that's one reason. And then second is the security. Government had a big concern, and I have seen, I have worked with a couple of state government, and they had that concern. Although NIST is one National Institute of Standards and Technology. They actually, they actually create standards or build standards, and make sure that people are enforcing them. They have very stringent security rulings or controls they come up with. But still, I have seen people or companies, they have that concern of their data onto the cloud. And we'll find out more on that. Amazon and Microsoft and other cloud providers, they have a dedicated separate entity. They call it GovCloud or government cloud. That is for federal government or the state governments. But I have still, I hear even the private sector organizations that they have the concern over security. And we'll find out more, on the security of that as well. These are the two major concerns, either the cost or the security.
Thank you, Jazakallah.
Sure. All right. So, what is cloud? What is the definition of cloud? So, if I just come in here, cloud covers all these areas. Actually, all of these areas. You don't need to worry about these areas. The main worry point or main concern for people is about this area here. So what cloud does is all these components. So cloud is a model that provides compute, storage, network, development tools, or even the applications over the internet. That's the basic layman definition of it. So anything that is connected through the internet and providing you all the capabilities, that is the layman definition of the cloud. Wikipedia has a very complex definition, but the gist is the same. NIST has a complex definition, same thing, but the gist is the same, that all these critical components that you gain access to over the internet is called cloud. Okay?
Faisal, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm so sorry, somehow my speaker was not working. But if you go back one step, can you do that for me, please? Yeah. So managed service provider. Basically, basically what I understood is that the data center is at a location of a company, but is managed by, let's say, AWS or Azure or some other, or by two other different vendors. Is that correct?
For the managed service provider,
yeah.
So the managed service provider, they manage everything and they lease the space to you, to your company, to put in your servers or to put in your network or to put in your storage gear.
Exactly. So why would somebody do that when the cloud service, 100% cloud? I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah. So cloud is still a complex term for organizations. And like I mentioned, if an organization has a grandfather leadership and they are reluctant to change, that's why, that's one example. That's why, people go to the MSPs instead of going into the cloud. Second is, let's say my IT, let's say I am a a small business, brick and mortar store, and everything is running, on-prem for me. I do not need any cloud or anything, so that's why I picked MSP. And I apologize for not picking the right example for you at this time. But if I find out, I'll let you know.
No, that's fine. I'm just trying to get it. Like, why, when so many things are available, why would you go for that route? But that's fine. You can move forward.
Okay.
Faisal bhai, if I may quickly interject,
Sure.
there is one company in the Chicagoland area. Several of our Momineen brothers work there as well. I can connect with them. I'll send you the comments, that website shortly. Basically, there are some applications and solutions that are not ready for cloud. So for those companies and those applications, they prefer to go into a managed services MSP managed data center as opposed to managing it locally or on cloud.
Okay. Thank you, bye. Okay. So is everybody clear on the cloud definition? That all the critical components, they are coming over the internet or over the wire. NIST has actually five points that are defined that qualifies that provider to be a cloud provider, or that qualifies that type to be a cloud type. So one is the internet access. Second is, the on-demand self-service. So on-demand self-service means I click on it, I got the service. I do not click on it, it's just there. So the service is waiting for me to be requested. As soon as I demand it, I will receive that. Then the third one is shared resource pooling. So like I mentioned, about the virtualization, that's one example. That although it looks like that I have the entire physical hardware for me, but I may have only one chunk of it being utilized for me, and then the another chunk is utilized for, let's say, company B. Third chunk is utilized by company C. So the resources are pooled, and they are offered in a shared fashion. Another one is, and it is very common, very critical, very important piece, which is the rapid elasticity. It is like a rubber band. You stretch the rubber band and then you let go and it'll come back to its original shape or original size. So elasticity means that when the need arises, it increases the capacity for me. And when the need is gone, it decreases or lower it down or tone it down back to the original capacity. And we will do a hands-on work lab, plus we'll read or discuss more on that elastic aspect of the cloud in our subsequent days. So just keep in mind, the elasticity is one of those. So one is the internet access. Second is on-demand service, shared resource pooling, measured services, and then the rapid elasticity. Okay. So if I go to the next slide and try to remember or try to recall these things as much as possible, because these are very common ones when you go for an interview or when you go for certification or when you are working in your company. You may hear a lot of jargons like this. One is so there are several different models of cloud. Up until our last class, Kamal bhai, we had only 3. Now the serverless is also part of it. So first one is, and which is very common, it is called IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service. And I'm gonna tell you more in details. Second one is called PaaS or PaaS, that is called platform as a service. Third one is called SaaS or SaaS, which is software as a service. And the fourth one, which I would say recently introduced a couple of years back, it is called serverless computing. And then, so these are the major ones. And then there are some specialty models. Specialty models are, we call them XaaS. X could be anything. It could be compliance, it could be database, it could be finance, it could be function, disaster recovery, whatever you could think of that could be provided as a service that comes in, in that model. So what is the demarcation line among these major cloud models? First one is the IaaS, which is the very base layer, and that covers your virtual machines, your server storage, your load balancer, networks, firewall. So if you are, and you will know more tomorrow when we go to the EC2 lab. The IaaS is the one, let's say I went to Amazon and I asked them, hey, you know what? I want 4 virtual machines to be built, or 4 virtual machines and this much of the capacity and this much of storage I require. And then, so just give me that and I'll build everything, on top of it by myself. So if I ask for, that base infrastructure from them, that falls under the IaaS model. And then on top of it, the next model is called the PaaS or PaaS, platform as a service. So platform is actually built on top of your infrastructure. So let's say instead of going to the cloud provider to give me these bare metal machines or the bare storage or the servers, I ask them, hey, you know what? Give me a web server. Let's say give me like 12 web servers and give me 10 databases, and I'm gonna install the application on top of it and I'll run it, for my needs. So I am not paying for this IaaS piece. I'm gonna pay only for this PaaS piece. So base infrastructure, on top of it, you build the platform. So you have the base infrastructure, on top of it, you build the platform. And then on top of it, you build your software. So if I am going to the service provider for the bare metal hardware, I am paying for the IaaS service. If I am going to AWS and asking for databases and web server and some development tools, then I am going to pay for PaaS. I'm not going to pay for IaaS. I'm going to pay for only this PaaS. And if I go there and ask them, hey, you know what, give me a CRM software, or if I go to Microsoft, hey, give me O365 subscription, or if I go to Salesforce, hey, give me the CRM subscription, or if I go to ServiceNow, hey, give me the incident management services subscription. So that is called, or that is considered as a SaaS model or SaaS model. That's where I do not have to pay for this or this. I just have to pay for maybe a subscription or maybe a one-time fee or whatever the model is to to pay for those services. So I'll just pay for that. On a in another front, you can call it IaaS is for the infrastructure services, PaaS is for the platform, and the SaaS is for the application. So software covers your application as well. It could be anything, like these couple of examples I gave you. And then once I have my application built, it is accessed through the cloud clients. I can access through the web browser, I can access through my mobile phone, I can access through my thin client or terminal or anything. Can you guys give me a recent example of one of the cloud services which we use within an hour? Within an hour. Okay. Anyone else?
I'm guessing your PowerPoint, that's probably running Office 365.
Not really, actually. This is my local copy. Okay. Google Drive is exactly, yeah, Menti, yes, yes, Narjis. So Menti.com is one SaaS example. I went to Menti, I put in my question, and then I presented to you guys, and you guys responded back to me. So Menti is one example, yes. So this is the example which we are using, which we use within an hour. Zoom is another example which we are currently using. So within an hour, that was the key point on my question, within an hour. Although there are several other, like Netflix is one example, O365, somebody wrote, Salesforce, Dropbox, Google Drive. There are tons and tons of them. And how do we access them? Our Menti we access through some of you responded back through their mobile phone. Some of you respond back through your browser, right? So these applications, they can be accessed from anywhere, whatever the available method is. You call them a cloud client, or a simple web browser like IE, Internet Explorer, or it could be Chrome browser, or it could be anything. So these are the models, and these are the access methods. Now within these models, there are tons and tons of different jobs, and I'm going to talk about all the job functions, and the training, certification, and all that. I'm going to talk about the training today, but the job and everything I'm going to talk about in our subsequent classes. Okay. So Masood Rizvi asked, so they all fall in SaaS category? No, they are not. So let's say if I have only Microsoft Office, let's say if I have Microsoft Server 2016 I built, so I'm going to pay for that under the IaaS subscription model. So that is the IaaS. So these models, they tell us where I am going to pay to the cloud provider. If I am paying the cloud provider for the virtual machine, that means that I have an IaaS model. If I'm paying the cloud provider for that application, let's say Office 365, that means I have a SaaS model. Not all of them, they roll up to SaaS. SaaS is a separate model, PaaS is a separate model, and IaaS is a separate model. Whatever my company or I am paying to that, to the service provider, that is, the model which I am currently under. All right, so Ali is asking, website is hosted in a cloud? Yes, websites are hosted in a cloud, and we're gonna host one of our basic website tomorrow in our EC2 infrastructure. And then in our subsequent days, so what we're gonna do, tomorrow we're gonna do the IaaS model example, putting our web server there. Subsequent days, we're going to do our PaaS model and also SaaS model as well with the web, web servers there. Okay. And then specialty models. Specialty models are, so this is a blooming market these days. If you could think of anything they could provide or you could offer as a service, I would suggest just go do that, go build the infrastructure and start selling it. Could be compliance, just only the company. There are companies, they just focus only on the compliance. It could be a government compliance, it could be a credit card industry compliance, or it could be a PCI compliance or PII compliance or whatever. So they just focus specifically on that compliance. There are companies that they just offer only the database services. Oracle is one example. Oracle has a service called DBaaS, or database as a service, that they say that, do not purchase anything from us. Just get the Oracle database from us and run whatever you're running on other platform or wherever. So you could just, be a very specific, a niche technology provider on that specific area. I know we have some people from the finance side as well, or accounting side in this training. finance as a service is another example. What happens is finance as a service is, let's say I have certain financial application that I'm just only offering for that specific business type, or accounting software only, or fintech is very is an area that is actually picking up pace. Kumail bhai, if you just maybe type it here in the chat, fintech, I'll let you guys to do the do some Googling on it, and we'll talk about it on our next Monday's class. What is fintech? So it is picking up pace. Then disaster recovery as a service, and we'll find out what is disaster recovery, what is that DR service. So Asterisk as a service, or XaaS, or X could be anything. So whatever you're offering, now is the time to start making money out of it. Function as a service could be any function. Okay. So one example is a guy walks into a cloud provider. Hey, can you do homework as a service? And I'm not kidding you. There are a lot of companies currently offering homework as a service. Chegg is one example. Chegg.com is one example. Study.com is another example. So yes, there are companies offering this service as well. So whatever you could think of, either it will be there. If it is not there, that is your chance to, open up your company. All right. These are some examples of the cloud solutions. Not gonna go in much detail. It's a mix of industry plus type. The solution type could be website and web app, financial services, healthcare industry, retail industry, automotive, big data, blockchain, telecom, digital media, backup and recovery, government, startups, power utilities. No matter what you could think of, cloud is providing a solution for that. And these are just a couple of examples here. If you start searching for it, there are like tons and tons of them, which I cannot even put it in, in one tag here. All right, cloud providers. What are the cloud providers these days? What is the current market share? Who is standing where? Statista is a site. Go to statista.com, bookmark them. They have some good statistics and that related, economics and statistics related data, not just only for the cloud, but pretty much all the industry. It helped me out a lot in my research. So this is, so cloud providers, Amazon, AWS. So Amazon is a company, it has its own concern, which is called AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. Microsoft has a similar cloud services, they call it Azure. Google, they have a service which is called GCP, or Google Cloud Platform. IBM has the same, Oracle has the same, and Alibaba has the same. And there are several other as well. They're like, I don't know, some 100 more cloud providers, big or small, they are offering the similar cloud services. Amazon leads the $100 billion market cap. This data is up until December last year. No, Q4 2019. I don't know if it is the Q4 for the fiscal or the calendar, but that is like 2019 data. And Corona hasn't hit much here, so it'll be around the same. So Amazon has a 33% market share. That is one of the reasons why we encourage you to go for Amazon. 33% means overall market, like every third company has AWS footprint. If you are AWS certified, or if you have AWS expertise, chances are that you will get a job there. because every third company has AWS footprint compared to Microsoft, that is 18%, and then Google 8%, and the list goes on and on. So that's one of the reasons. But I'm not discouraging you guys to not to go for Azure or GCP. I don't want to offend anybody. So if you feel that your background matches the Azure area or Microsoft area, go for that certification. Why we pick only one provider here? Otherwise, it would be so complicated for you guys. And Komelba and I, we pretty much every day we have the similar struggle. That you mix the services name for one company to another. So my suggestion is pick one, run with it, and then once you have certain level of expertise, then start building expertise on the other areas as well. All right, cloud movers and shakers. This is the Gartner's 2019, July 2019, so about a year old, but the graph or the quadrant still remains the same. AWS is the leader, then Microsoft, then Google, and these are the niche players. I don't know why they call Oracle a niche player, but to me, Oracle is a dying elephant. If you have like 10, 15, 20, 25 years of your career left, I would suggest to, work around these areas. At least for the next 5 years. If I look into the bigger picture, 5 years, things will revolve around these people or these companies. Maybe Microsoft will come up, Amazon second, or Google second, Amazon third, or whatever. But next 5 years, this is where I foresee. Okay. Next one is AWS Web Services Overview. All right. Do you guys want to take a 5-minute break, or do you want me to continue until 8 p.m.?
Keep going.
Continue.
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 Okay. I hope that my pace is not too fast or not too slow. You guys are able to catch me up. All right. AWS Services Overview. Okay. What we're gonna do in our 5 weeks journey. Okay. We're gonna have the introduction to cloud, introduction to AWS cloud or AWS services, and then we're gonna discuss key concepts in the AWS area. They're pretty much the same in Azure and GCP as well. Then we're gonna get an understanding of core services. What are the core services? Compute, storage, database, network, security management, monitoring, internet gateway. So these services have a different naming here in AWS. Compute is called EC2. Storage is EBS or S3, RDS database, IAM, security management. Route 53 is DNS, so security, replication, and all that. So we're gonna be rolling up our sleeves, digging right in to these services, playing around with it, and beat the crap out of it. That's what the intent is. Okay. Also, we're gonna look into the cost management and cost calculator. Like, how do we calculate the cost? What is the management process? What is the calculation process? And then, like I said in the start, that we're gonna be discussing command line or basic navigation. Massive scale deployment, I told you about, IAC or infrastructure as a code, that instead of going with the physical one of purchasing a physical thing, everything is like, you type in the code, you push the code, your infrastructure is right there ready for you. Okay. So this 5 weeks journey, we're gonna be doing a boatload of hands-on work. All right, so Amazon global infrastructure. Okay, Amazon has developed a global infrastructure. They have strategically placed their regions and zones, and I'll come to it. What is a region? What is a zone? To cater the needs or the requirement of all those people, or the people in that specific area. Okay, one thing is I forgot to send an email to you guys. This slide deck is uploaded to our Google Drive. And the link to the Google Drive is in that welcome email. Also, I will be sending another email later tonight or tomorrow once we have this video uploaded to our to the YouTube. So Amazon has at this time 24 launch regions. These are the blue ones are the launch regions, and each one has multiple availability zones. There are 3 announced regions and 76 AZs and all these numbers. Don't have to remember them all, but they have pretty much covered the entire globe. No matter which part of the world you are in, you will have at closest access to Amazon services. So it's not like that I am located in Singapore and my server is in New York. So it's not going to come all the way from the world to connect to that to my application in New York. Amazon provides replication services or a region or zone in close to Singapore, so that my people in Singapore, they will have a direct low latency network connectivity. So they will not feel like that they are coming all the way from the world, all the way across the world. These links, they are very helpful. If I just click on one link here, let me see where it is opening. It is opening here. Okay. Infrastructure.aws. It's a very interactive one. So, you can swipe here and then you can, zoom right in and it tells you, how they are connected and, how many AZs each has and all those details. North Virginia, Ohio, GovCloud and all that. So yeah, when you get time, whatever the links are there, they are provided because there is a reason behind it. So look, click on those links and find out more details on that. Okay. All right. So how Amazon has set it up, they call the bigger area a region, and within that region, they create different availability zones. One availability zone, let's put it this way, one availability zone or one AZ is one data center within that region. So Amazon's first region was in Virginia, and they have 6 different AZs within that region. Okay. So each region is, although it is completely independent from the other regions, so they have their fault tolerance, high availability and all that. So let's say if this is Ohio region, so we have 3 availability zones and they are interconnected and replicated. Let's say I have my application hosted here or my infrastructure set up here in AZ1 in Ohio region, and if that AZ is burned down to ground completely, my data will still be intact in one of those AZs, and we'll find out more that what level of assurance Amazon provides, that how many AZs will I have my my data be be replicated. It's a different number for storage, different number for other areas. So we will learn more when we as we proceed along. So how Amazon puts it, the region, it puts it like first two characters is for the country, and then the next one after the hyphen is for that specific area. Let's say it's East Coast or West Coast, and then the AZ, which is either 1A, 1B, or 2A, 2B. So if you see that US East is one region, okay? So in the East region, let's assume that it has two, like within the region, it has two, let's say, let's take this example. So US East, let's say this is all US East here. So this one is US East 1. This is US East 2, okay? Amazon calls US East 1 as that is their Virginia location. And then the other one, the Ohio one, they call it US East 2, okay? And then A, B, C, D, E, F, G, they are those AZs. So A, B, C. So if I go to the next slide here, you see that US East, North Virginia, they call it US East 1. That is the technical lingo of that region name. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it has 6 availability zones or 6 data centers in Virginia. So AZ A, B, so they are availability zones. Availability zone A, B, C, D, E, F, they all are within the Virginia location. Same goes with in Tokyo, they have only 4 AP North East, 1, 2, 3, 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1D. And then I think I have the list here. Yes, yeah. So US East 1, that was the first one region Amazon came up with in Virginia. And then, East 2 is Ohio. Although this is a old screenshot, but they are pretty much the same. There may be a change here and there. We don't have to worry about the entire thing. We're gonna be doing majority of our work in US East 1, which is the North Virginia region. Maximum number of AZs, we have 6, which is in Virginia. Okay, so US East 2 is Ohio, and then US West Coast, we have California and Oregon, and then CA is for Canada Central, EU, Europe or European Union. So you have they have EU West 1, West 2, West 3, all these in the west of the EU, and then Asia Pac, AP Asia Pac, SA is South America. So all these are here. Entire list can be found here. I'm sorry. Click on these links, you will have all the lists. So you have like 24 regions, and then they have like 76 availability zones. This is the data as of last night. I don't know if there's anything new came up or comes up, within like 12 hours. You never know. Okay. Any question or any clarification you need on this US East 1A, because you have to, remember this. Although once you start, logging into the console, you will learn more on that, and you will remember that all. Okay, all right, I'll move on. So US East.
I had one question.
Sure.
So does the company have to pay more if they want more AZs, for security purposes? Or can they pay for only one AZ in that data center, if that makes sense?
So if I understood your question correctly, let's say you wanted to have your application hosted in multiple AZs in that region.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, you will pay more. So you have to, you know, strategically, you know, put your application, and we'll have more detailed answer for you once we in our, you know, coming days, that how do we decide where do I put, or like which AZ or which region should I pick for my application. Let's say my corporate office is in, I'm just giving you a teaser here, and then, you know, we'll have more details down the road. Let's say my corporate office is in New York, but my entire workforce is sitting in Singapore. Okay. So I will try to have my application footprint in Singapore, because that's where my developer, my other people are who are accessing my application, instead of putting it into the in New York, because that will be you know, a route all the way, you know, around the globe. So that's just, you know, one small example. And then once we go further on, you know, for the services, we will have more detailed discussion on that. I hope it answers your question. Was that Sahir?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. This number is last year's number, and I am sure it either must have surpassed 5,000 or you know, surpassed 6,000 or maybe close to that. The way Amazon is churning, you know, services left and right. Let's just assume that number remains the same. So Amazon had 5,000, has 5,000 different services they are currently offering. So many services, you do not have to remember them all. So whatever is specific to you, remember that, work on it, because you never know what services you are working in. There are some basic services which are common across board, but there are some services which not every company implements. Okay. Let's say Kumailwise company, they are doing code development. They may use code pipeline, but what if my company is using, you know, something else? Or let's say if I just pick here, let's say, you know, my company is working on some IoT project, and I may be using this service and not any other service, or Snowball is one example. So there are services, like, you do not have to remember all those 5,000 services. The more you know, the better it is for you. But chances are you will not ever work on those 5,000 services in your lifetime. So because every industry has a different, you know, service offering, they have different service offerings for, you know, different services. Okay. All right. So Amazon services. Okay. So let me just pick it up here. Okay. So these are the services, just an example, and you can click here, click on this link, and it'll give you the entire listing here. Okay. Like, you will get this listing, and then, you know, within that listing, you click on analytics, you will get more details here. So what we are covering here, we are going to cover in our, this journey here, we're going to cover compute service. Okay. We're going to cover not the entire compute service, but the basic critical compute service we're going to cover. We're going to cover management and governance, and we're going to cover a little bit on the cost management. And then we're going to cover storage in depth, identity and compliance a bit, not a bit, but, you know, a fair chunk, network and content delivery as well. So, and database, yes. So these are the areas which we are going to cover. Okay. It does not mean that the other services, they are useless. No. If you cover these 6 areas extensively, you have a better chances to not just land in a job, but also do a better job at your current workplace. Okay. Going next. Okay, so these are the ones which I just highlighted. So I will have, you know, more details here. So service offering on the compute. So you see that there are several different services. We're gonna be doing very extensive work on Amazon EC2, okay? We're gonna do so much work on the EC2 that you will learn it by heart and you will do it in your sleep, okay? The rest of the services, I'm gonna touch a couple of them here. This one we're gonna cover as well, auto scaling. But the rest of the services, once we're gonna do the compute part, I'll just give you an understanding of those, okay? Okay, right, so moving on next, on the storage side, storage, we're gonna cover S3 very extensively. We're gonna cover EBS, EFS.
Excuse me.
Yes.
When you say S3, is that the S3 bucket?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And you're going to go over the security of how to secure S3 buckets, because there've been a lot of news of misconfiguration can cause a lot of leaks, and
Yes.
are you available for hackers?
Yes, sir. We're gonna cover as extensive as possible. Okay. The rest of the services, like I said, for the other ones, I'm gonna go over what are those, what they offer, and all those types, because not everything is under free tier. Plus, as much as information that you require at this time, for this journey, but you are more than welcome to explore more on those areas. Okay. Network and content delivery. That's the thing which I really enjoy. APC, Route 53. Sorry, VPC, Route 53, and ELB, Elastic Load Balancer. We're gonna cover those, and the rest of them, similar thing. We'll just give you guys a overview on those. Security and identity and compliance, INAM, that service we're gonna cover. And for the rest, I'm gonna give you a good hint, and if time permits, we'll see if we could cover these two here, and AWS DDoS protection. AWS SSO, I'll see if I could, it all depends on the, if time permits. Okay. All right. Database services, majority of them we're gonna cover Aurora, Dynamo, RDS, and the rest I'll give you, the overview of those. Okay. It does not mean that the rest of the services are not good. The rest of the services are better, but they are better for that specific purpose. So we'll give you that level of understanding that you will have, that level of understanding that you could conduct a conversation. Okay. All right, management and governance, or scale, CloudWatch, CloudFormation, probably not, or maybe. These two are the major ones. Where's the CloudTrail? Here it is. Okay. Yeah, these are the major ones. And then we'll see, time permits, we're going to cover this. And then the rest, same thing, will give you an understanding. Chatbots are in fashion these days. Okay. It's not just only the AWS chatbot, but the chatbots by other providers as well. If you have interest in it, I would suggest go do this, because chatbots, they have changed industry paradigm. People behind the phone providing you the services, now chatbots are doing it. Let's say you have Verizon, you're on a chat with them. You put the question, they pick it up and then answer that, instead of trying to get on a call with a person who is so whose demeanor is so bad that actually ruins your day. I'd rather, work with a chatbot and, get my work done. Xfinity, I had a very bad experience with those guys, and now, the chatbot is helping me out. Same goes with Verizon as well. Their phone service is one of those worst ones, but chatbots are helping out. So that's just just a nugget for you guys. Okay, what are the AWS core services? Like I said, these critical ones. You have at the storage area. So this is your traditional data center, and this is a pretty much one-on-one map of your AWS offerings. On the storage area, let's say you have the RDBMS, Relational Database Management Systems, or your database services. That is on your traditional data center here. A cloud offering is Amazon has the RDS, or Amazon Relational Database Service. Your NAS storages, your SAN storages, or your DAS, or the direct attached storages. These are the three different storage types. They are offered here with these names. Your on-premise servers, they are being offered as EC2 or the AMIS. EC2 is the common name. So this is the server layer. Then your network layer. On the network layer, you have routers, pipelines, routers, switches, layer 2, layer 3, and all that. It's all being offered as ELBs, or Elastic Load Balancers, or Amazon VPC, or Virtual Private Cloud. This is a very interesting topic if you have interest in network. These are interesting if you have interest in security or network plus security, or if you have interest in user security. So these will be of interest for you. If you see that these are all physical devices, physical things, like you have in your office, or you have seen if you have been to data center, like different layer of switches, like core layer access, distribution, and all that, and then your routers, different firewall types, and all that. These were all physical things. Okay, their one-on-one replica, or their replica in the cloud, is pretty much everything is software defined. So everything here on the right hand side is software defined. You have the software defined security groups. You have software defined you have software defined storage, or you have software defined databases. So everything is software defined. Your network is all software defined. The thing that the companies were paying like several $100,000 for one appliance, you will see that similar appliance, you will get it like a couple of dollars per hour. Same functionality, same everything. So why would I pay, let's say there's one F5 as an appliance that is close to $500,000. Similar thing, you get it for, within the cloud, you get it for a couple of dollars per hour. So it's like they actually broke the entire mold. So once we log in and once we start seeing all these things, you will be amazed to see that why people are not going into the cloud. Okay, next one is AWS core infrastructure, infrastructure services. Same thing, you at the infra layer, you have region, availability zone, and edge. Okay, on top of it, you have the foundation services, then platform services, and then application services. So this is IaaS, this is kind of PS, and this is SaaS. Okay, so you have compute, network, or storage, and then this whole thing is your platform, and this thing is your application layer. Okay. So whatever is, offering there. Next one is AWS well-architected framework. It is very important for a couple of things, okay? One is, if you are going for a certification, learn this thing by heart, no matter what, okay? And there are several white papers and all that, and I'll show you those. Even if you click on this link here, it will take you to AWS well-architected framework. What it does is AWS actually came up with these 5 core principles. They are not just only applicable to AWS, they are applicable to everywhere. No matter you have on-prem, you are an MSP, you are Colo, you are Azure, you are GCP, Alibaba, whatever. Okay, these principles are applicable to everywhere. So understand and learn these 5 principles by heart. Okay, going for a certification exam, yes, there are questions from it. Going for an interview question or going for an interview, yes, they will ask questions on that. At least I do. I'm not sure about Kumail Bhai, but yes. So these are very critical ones, not just only for AWS, but for your career as well. That what is the operational excellence, okay? What is the reliability? How do we define reliability? What is the cost optimization? And once we go do the hands-on, we will find out, hey, cost optimization, how do I do that? Let's say I have my application is running on 2,000 servers here. Am I gonna lift and shift them all? Lift and shift is whatever is here, just taking it to the cloud. Am I gonna lift and shift them all those 2,000? No, this is not how things work. So you have to work on that cost optimization. And then, performance efficiency. One example, the same repeated example, people are sitting in Singapore, developers and end users sitting in Singapore, and your corporate office is in New York. Where are you going to put your application? So you have to decide on that. Performance and efficiency, security. How secure do you want it to be? Up to what level you want to put that, make it secure. Reliable, how reliable would it be? We're going to come to it when we're going to talk about the EC2 and S3, like storage and compute. What is the 11 nines? What is 9 nines? All these things, we're going to discuss that. I'm not going to go in details on these next 5 slides. These slides are about for you guys. So I just, put some gist of it, that what is the design principle? What is the best practices? Okay. Like what is the operational excellence design principle and best practices? What is the WAF security? Okay. What is the reliability, performance? Okay. Cost optimization. So these things, what I would suggest, highly recommend that you have you have read and understood that. To answer the question to Saeed Abdi, Singapore, I just picked that example just to show you that that is the other part of the world, and you are here at the different part of the world. Okay. Okay. Next one is AWS sample projects. This is my recommendation for you guys to click on the link. Let me just bring it here. You click on the link here. These are the hands-on tutorials for your AWS needs. Okay. It has, whichever has a free tier mentioned here, that means you're not going to be charged for that service. Storage does not have that. That means whatever you're doing, you may incur some charges there. So it has like tons and tons of details here, or I'm sorry, projects here for you. I wanted to create a NoSQL table, or I wanted to create a Linux machine or Windows machine, or how do I remote log in, create a WordPress site, or store or retrieve, or serverless, create a serverless hello world. It's like 5 pages here. So, you know, my recommendation, maybe not tonight. Once you do something tomorrow, over the weekend, when you get time, just, you know, launch it and see, I mean, how it goes. So whatever you're seeing here, pretty much we're gonna be doing it, you know, hands-on. Okay. All right. So that's about the sample projects. Okay. Next one is, okay, Kamal, what time is it? Okay, right now, so we have 3 minutes and I am on my, you know what, let's hold on to the certification slide. I'll talk about it, or talk about certification tomorrow. Okay, we'll just hold on to this. Next one is shared responsibility model, that, and these two things, I think I should be done in 5 minutes. Shared responsibility model is what is Amazon is responsible for, and what is we are responsible for. Okay, Amazon is responsible for their underlying infrastructure. Okay, so the demarcation line is Amazon responsible for the security of the cloud. Customer responsible for the security in the cloud. Okay, off and in. Remember that. Good exam and good interview question. Okay. AWS is responsible for their regions, availability zone, their edge locations, and their global infrastructure, whatever underneath it. They're also responsible for compute, storage appliances, compute servers, database servers, network equipment. They are responsible for that. Anything happens to it, Amazon assumes the responsibility. Anything running on top of it, your IaaS, your PaaS, or your SaaS, or your customer, your data, that is your responsibility. Amazon is not responsible for anything. You leave the door open, you cannot blame Amazon. Hey, somebody entered in, you know, in my facility or entered in my application. Okay, so you have to secure it accordingly. Here, let's just take an example. DIY means do it yourself, or it is on-prem. So this is you. So you are responsible for everything from physical, network, virtual, OS, application data, everything you are responsible for in the DIY. In the IaaS piece, infrastructure as a service, your responsibility starts from the operating system. Underneath anything running, it's all Amazon responsibility, virtualization, network, physical, whatever. PaaS, your responsibility starts from the application layer. SaaS, your responsibility starts from the data layer. You put your data there, okay? Okay. All right. And then same thing, you know, customer share responsibility model, 2 different models I just, you know, put in there just for you guys to understand that. All right, so I am done with the class right on dot. Okay. Any questions before I have, so here's the thing. I have one more survey for you guys before we, you know, move on to the next class. Let me just pull that up real quick. Come on, not this one here. Hope I did not close it.
Faisal Bhai, while you're bringing that up, there is one more ask for a survey in the subsequent classes to provide feedback if there are any additional services the students, you know, the participants are interested in. You know, things, any services, any AWS services that they are looking for you to provide more details on beyond what you have already scheduled or planned for.
Okay. I know for some reason the slideshow is not ending and it has. Okay. Point noted, Kumalwai. I'll let them know. Let me share my screen again. You guys are still able to hear me, right?
Yes.
All right. So next question on your screen is, come on. All right. So the question is, have you signed up for AWS free tier account? Yes. Piece of cake. No, of course not. All right. Okay. So I'm sorry. This is. I could not get more answers because I think because of the time. So I'll pose this question again tomorrow. If you have not done it, please email it to me. Let me know so that I could work with you, because having a free tier account is a mandatory requirement here. Okay. Next question was about like I am stuck here with the leaderboard. Okay. All right. So next question is about your about your operating system. So here's the question on your screen. Okay. What operating system you have? Do you have Windows, Mac, Linux, Chromebook, iPad, Android tab, or anything else? All right, so please respond back to it. Preferred operating system is Windows and Mac. I can live with Linux. Chromebook, iPad, tablets, that will be a challenge, not just for me, but for you guys as well. Yeah, please respond on Menti. And I extended the time for this question for 15 minutes. So, respond back within 15 minutes, even once we close the call. The code is 36694. So please respond back to it so that I will have, better understanding. Otherwise, if you have any other type here, it will be a challenge for you and for us as well. Good that we have Windows, majority of them. Okay. Person who has Linux, maybe email me. I need to, get some clarity on that. What operating system are you running? Okay. All right. So this completes my our today's session. This concludes it. Feel free to provide your feedback. Either you like it or don't like it, or if I'm going too slow or too fast, or you want to see some extra things, just email it to me, and I'm going to work on tomorrow's deck later tonight. So if you want to see something additional there other than the hands-on lab, just please do let me know. Okay. Okay. For the WhatsApp group, we thought about it. I know we already are part of so many WhatsApp groups and add another one will be a challenge. So that's why I put in my email address and my phone number there. I am accessible. Either you text me, WhatsApp me, email me. I'll try to respond back to you as fast as possible. Kumalbhai, anything you would like to add or bring here?
Nope, thank you. There's one request. I think in this deck, you had a couple extra slides that were not on the Google Drive. So if you could update the slide deck.
I will upload that, and also, you know, the annotations there. I'll see if I could save those annotations and upload there. Yeah, so I think it might be missing, I think 3 or 4 slides, which I added like a couple of minutes before the call.
There was a side discussion about to start that I apologize for interrupting that thoughtful discussion there about security hacking. What is AWS stands on it? It's a slippery slope, so I just didn't want to have that side discussion going on too much. When Faisal bhai, you bring up the security topics, if you could address what is customer's responsibility, what is AWS responsibility in managing and securing the data.
Yeah, we will discuss in detail once we cover the security area. Rest assured, but if you feel that I missed that point, you know, feel free to let me know.
Yep, I'll do that. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. And what I'm gonna do is I am actually saving the chat as well, and I will upload today's chat to our OneDrive as well. That I know that Kamal Bhai was responding to, you know, several of the questions there. So this is for you guys to, you know, to refer to, you know, down the road if you want it.
Hey, Faisal, thank you so much. Great job.
Sure. Thank you much. So see you guys tomorrow. I'll try to be online 5 or 10 minutes early. So if you could come in early as well, so that we will start right on dot. Okay.
Thank you, Faisal.
Yeah. Thank you much, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, Faisal.
Thank you.